There will come a moment when everything you've built falls apart. When your plans shatter, your hope flickers, and you ask yourself if it was all for nothing. But hear this now. Failure is not the end. It is the invitation. The fire that burns away who you're not, so who you truly are can rise. Your next chapter begins right here. Welcome to Unlocking Wisdom, a space where ancient strength meets modern clarity. Here, we awaken the courage to rise through adversity, live with purpose, and become all we were meant to be. Failure, the very word used to paralyze hearts and break ambition. But I ask you now to see it with new eyes, because failure, when embraced, is not your enemy. It is your making. I've stood in the cold with nothing but vision. I've led tired men with nothing but belief. And I've tasted defeat more times than I care to count. But what carried me through wasn't luck. It was the decision to see every failure as a forge, a place where the weaker self burns away and the stronger one begins. The world taught you to fear falling, to equate setbacks with shame. But I say, this clearly, the fall is not the finish. It is your formation. When the path crumbles beneath your feet, it is not because you've lost your way. It is because the old ground could no longer hold the weight of who you're becoming. Let that truth cut deep. You are not made for a life without resistance. You were made to rise from the ruin with clarity in your eyes and power in your steps. The greatest shift in my life came the moment I stopped asking, "Why did I fail?" and began asking, "What is this failure trying to teach me?" That one question turned weakness into wisdom, confusion into clarity, and loss into liberation. If you keep interpreting every obstacle as a sign to quit, then you've misunderstood the language of life. Life speaks through disruption, through delay, through breakdown. And when you tune your soul to hear it, you stop fearing the fall. You begin leaning into it. Because you understand now, every fall is a doorway, not a dead end. What matters is not how far you've fallen, but whether you're still willing to stand. So I ask you now, are you? Will you let this moment define you or refine you? You let your pride stay broken, or will you let your spirit begin again? Because buried beneath every collapse is the seed of a rise more powerful than before, but only if you choose to plant it. Let this be the day you stop running from failure and start walking toward it with open eyes and a willing heart. Because this time, you're not falling apart. You're falling into alignment with your true power. And from this place, you do not rebuild, you become. If you're here now, still breathing, still listening, then failure did not finish you. It woke you. And now, you must do something most people never dare. You must learn from it. Not just glance at it, not just resent it, but truly extract the lesson buried inside the loss. Because every time life breaks you, it is handing you a mirror. And what you choose to see in that reflection will either shape your rise or cement your ruin. Most people look into that mirror and only see what they lacked, not what they gained. They see their weakness, but not the strength forged beneath the egg. I have seen soldiers fall on the battlefield and rise with deeper courage. I have seen leaders lose everything and find clarity that power could never buy. That clarity, it comes when you stop blaming and start owning. When you stop asking why the storm came and start asking who you became inside it. Failure doesn't come to shame you, it comes to shape you. You are being stretched, not punished, pressed, not crushed. And if you dare to listen, the failure will teach you more than 1,000 victories ever could. It will humble your ego, sharpen your focus, and remind you of the fire still burning inside. Remember this: no great life was built on comfort. Every soul that ever shook the earth was refined through fire. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Angelina Jolie. And I would add, only if you allow it. You see, pain is not enough. Struggle, is not enough. It's what you do with it that determines who you become. You can carry your wounds like weight, or you can wear them like wisdom. The choice is yours. And I know the temptation to close off, to numb it all, to act like you don't care anymore. But numbness is not strength, it is surrender. And you were not born to surrender. You were born to rise with scars and still walk proud, to carry your story like a sword, not a shackle. And that begins by asking, what is this trying to show me about myself? Maybe it's revealing where you abandoned your values. Maybe it's showing you who was never meant to stay. Maybe it's reminding you to trust yourself more deeply than ever before. Whatever the lesson is, grab hold of it. Let it pierce you. Let it awaken you, because the moment you learn the lesson is the moment the loss becomes legacy. You are not broken, you are being built. And you, my friend, are being built for something far greater than what you've left behind. So rise from the loss, but do not rise the same. Rise wiser, rise louder, rise ready. By now, you've stared at failure and begun to ask what it came to teach you. But let's speak honestly. What follows failure isn't always wisdom. Sometimes it's doubt. That slow, heavy fog that seeps into your mind and makes you question who you are and where you're going. Doubt is subtle. It doesn't scream, it whispers. It tells you you're lost, that your voice doesn't matter, that maybe this path was never meant for you in the first place. And if you're not careful, you'll believe it. You'll stop moving, not because the road is closed, but because you no longer trust your ability to walk it. But let me remind you of something sacred. Your inner compass has not been broken. It's been buried. And now, in the stillness after the storm, it's time to find it again. You do not need more opinions. You need connection with yourself. Beneath the noise of fear and regret, there is a voice inside you that already knows the way. That voice doesn't sound like panic. It sounds like peace. Not the peace of everything being perfect, but the peace of finally knowing you're aligned. You must listen for it. It speaks in nudges, in instinct, in that sudden sense of knowing that can't be explained, only followed. That's your direction, not the map others gave you, not the goals you thought you should chase, but the truth that keeps returning no matter how many times you try to ignore it. And the more you listen to it, the clearer it becomes. Every doubt you felt was not a sign to quit. It was a signal to go inward, to return to your center. Because from that center comes strength, and from that strength comes clarity. I've stood before entire armies with more questions than answers, but I walked forward anyway. Not because I had no fear, but because I trusted what was inside me more than what I could see in front of me. That same trust is waiting for you now. Your next step doesn't require a perfect plan. It requires alignment. It requires faith in the unseen, belief in the unheard, and a decision to move anyway. That is how doubt becomes direction, not by removing uncertainty, but by choosing action in the presence of it. You are not lost. You are being refined. And the longer you wait for certainty, the longer you postpone your becoming. Doubt will visit, but it doesn't get to drive. You do. And when you take the wheel, guided by your deepest knowing, you don't. Just find your path. You create it. So walk, even if your legs shake. Speak, even if your voice cracks. Choose, even if the road looks unclear. Because on the other side of doubt is the life that was waiting for your yes. Let that yes begin now. There's a war that few talk about, the one raging inside your mind. The battlefield isn't always out there. Often, it's the chaos within, the thoughts that spin out of control, the fears that whisper you're not enough, the regrets that replay like broken records. And if you don't learn to master that storm, you'll be a prisoner in your own life. But hear me clearly now. You are not your thoughts. You are the one who observes them. You are the commander of your mind, not its captive. The world will push you, people will judge you, outcomes will shift, but what truly matters is how you respond inside. That is the difference between being owned by life or owning your path. Most people let emotions lead them like a wild horse with no reins. One insult, one setback, one failure, and they spiral. But you are not most people. You are here to rise, not react. And that begins by stepping back and reclaiming your inner space. Because when the storm rages inside you, it's not the time to run louder. It's the time to go still. Stillness is not weakness. It is control. It is the fire-tested discipline to pause before you act, to breathe before you speak, to think before you fall. And that stillness gives you something the world can never offer: mastery over your state. You must become the calm in your own storm, because peace is not found in the absence of chaos. Peace is found in your ability to remain centered while everything else shakes. That's power. That's what separates leaders from followers, warriors from wanderers. And I've lived it. I've stood in the eye of defeat and refused to be swept away. Not because I was stronger, but because I decided to master my mind before it mastered me. That decision is now yours to make. Do not wait for peace to appear. Create it. Build it in the way you speak to yourself, in the thoughts you allow to stay, in the discipline you choose each day. Because everything you want, clarity, purpose, power, it begins with your inner world. The outer follows the inner, always. So ask yourself, are you fueling your fire or feeding your fears? Are you building calm or clinging to chaos? What you tolerate in your mind will shape what you experience in your life. And if you want freedom, you must become unshakable from within. This is your training ground. This is your turning point. You can no longer afford to be at war with yourself. Make peace with your past. Take charge of your thoughts and step into the eye of your storm with a new kind of confidence. The quiet kind that doesn't shout but shifts the atmosphere. Because once you master the storm within, nothing outside can break you. Once you've quieted the storm inside, it's time to rise from that stillness and build not a life of chance, but a life of design. You see, too many drift. They wait for signs, wait for luck, wait for someone to rescue them from the slow decay of wasted days, but waiting is not living. If you want a life that moves you forward, you must move first. Not in panic, but in purpose. Not in reaction, but with direction. The truth is, you don't just stumble into fulfillment, you shape it. With every choice, every boundary, every habit you practice when no one is watching. What you repeat, you become. So I ask you, are your routines reflecting the future you say you want? Or are they quietly pulling you backward? Every morning you wake is an invitation to move differently. To move from intention, not impulse. To stop letting distractions steal your direction. Because the life you were born to live will not appear through comfort, it will appear through discipline. And discipline is not punishment. It is self-respect. It is the love you give yourself in advance. It is how you protect the fire within you from being smothered by laziness, excuses, and fear. Yes, it takes effort. But nothing worthy of your soul comes easy. I remember the winters of war when everything felt like it was falling apart. But we didn't wait for conditions to be perfect. We made progress through the snow, through the hunger, through the pain, because we believed the future we fought for was worth every present sacrifice. That same fight lives in you. And you don't need to be in battle to live like a warrior. Build your life like your soul depends on it, because it does. You want meaning? Then do meaningful things. You want peace? Then stop choosing what disrupts it. You want to grow? Then surround yourself with people, habits, and thoughts that challenge you to rise. You are not helpless. you are powerful beyond your current patterns. The best way to get started is to quit talking and begin doing. Walt Disney. So begin. Today, start where you are. You don't need more time. You need more truth. The truth that every action you take is either a brick or a blow to the life you're trying to build. So ask yourself, is this choice planting a future I want to live in? If not, change it. If yes, repeat it. It's not magic, it's momentum. The more you honor your intention, the more your future starts pulling you forward. And soon, your life begins to mirror your inner strength, not your past struggle. You'll wake up and realize, I'm not just surviving anymore. I'm building something real, something worthy, something that moves me forward, even when the world tries to pull me back. You've made it this far not because life was easy, but because you refused to stay broken. You chose to rise. You chose to rebuild. But now, the journey takes a different turn, inward, because all the progress in the world means nothing if you still look in the mirror and reject who's staring back at you. To move forward with power, you must learn to love the person you are becoming. Not in some surface-level, empty affirmation, but in the quiet, courageous act of full acceptance. You are not perfect. You were never supposed to be. You are real. You are growing. You are healing. And that is enough. Too often we wait to love ourselves when we succeed, when we're stronger, when we finally become who we dream of. But if you withhold love until you arrive, you'll never truly arrive. Because you can't build a future with a heart still ashamed of its past. That shame, it must go. Not because your story is flawless, but because your worth has never depended on flawlessness. Your worth is inherent. It was written into your breath the moment you were born. And when you see that, when you finally believe that, everything changes. You begin making choices from love, not fear. From wholeness, not desperation. You stop chasing approval and start honoring truth. And your truth is this: you are becoming someone remarkable. Not because you've never fallen, but because you keep standing with more wisdom every time. Don't let yesterday take up too much of today. Will Rogers, let it go. Forgive yourself for the moments you didn't know better. Honor yourself for showing up anyway. There is nothing weak about being kind to yourself. In fact, it takes strength. The world will hand you criticism, but you must hand yourself compassion. You must become your own ally. Speak to yourself with respect. Act in ways that reflect your worth. Set boundaries that protect your peace. The more you do, the more you're off. Outer world aligns with the love you've cultivated inside. And soon, you'll look in the mirror and see someone rising, someone brave, someone real, someone you're proud to be. You are not your past. You are not your failures. You are not your fears. You are the strength that kept going, the light that kept burning, the soul that kept believing, even when it had every reason to give up. And that soul deserves love. That soul is you. So love boldly. Love truthfully. Love the journey. And most of all, love the person you are becoming. Because that person is extraordinary. This is where everything leads, not to the perfect version of you, but to the real one. Not the life you were told to chase, but the life you were born to create. And now the question echoes louder than ever. Will you choose it? Because no one else can walk this road for you. No one else can live your truth, carry your fire, or fight for your future. That's yours. It always has been. And maybe, just maybe, all the failures, all the silence, all the breakdowns weren't there to stop you. They were there to wake you. Mind you that nothing changes until you choose to change. That you don't have to stay trapped in the identity that was shaped by pain. That you are more than your history. You are the architect of what comes next. But that power, that incredible divine power, will never activate if you keep waiting for permission. So stop waiting. Stand up, step out, speak loud. This is not a rehearsal. This is your life, right here, right now. And it is asking for your full participation. It's asking for your discipline, your energy, your faith. It's asking you to stop tiptoeing around fear and start running with purpose. You don't need to feel ready. You need to be willing. Willing to start small, willing to stay consistent, willing to feel the discomfort that always precedes greatness. Because this life, the one that pulls at your heart and stirs your soul, it won't come from comfort. It will come from choice. The daily, powerful choice to build rather than break, to grow rather than hide, to show up rather than shut down. You are no longer the person who needs saving. You are the one who rises. You are the one who leads. You are the one who chooses. And what you choose today will echo for decades. It will shape the way your children see courage, the way your friends see faith, the way your future self looks back with fire in their eyes and says, "I did not give up on myself." Let that be your legacy. Not perfection, but persistence. Not performance, but purpose. Let this be the moment you stop existing and start living. Let this be the day you stop explaining your dreams and start building them. Let this be the life you choose, not because it's easy, but because it's real. And because deep down, you know you were made for this. If this journey awakens something in you, leave a comment, hit like, and subscribe to Unlocking Wisdom, because the fire inside you deserves to be fed, and this is just the beginning.